Hello everyone. In the previous video we have discussed about the electrical conductivity and the variation of electrical conductivity with dilution or concentration. In this video we are going to discuss about the variation of molar conductivity with concentration. The variation of molar conductivity with concentration in case of strong and weak electrolytes is qualitatively different. As we know that strong electrolytes undergo complete dissociation. So the number of ions produced in case of the strong electrolytes are more. Weak electrolytes never undergo complete dissociation. So the number of ions produced from the weak electrolytes will be comparatively less. So the molar conductivity of the strong and weak electrolytes of the same concentration differs. The same concentration electrolytes, that are the strong electrolyte, weak electrolytes are of same concentration, differs in the value of molar conductivity due to their dissociation difference. Strong electrolytes undergo complete dissociation, weak electrolytes never undergo complete dissociation, they undergo partial dissociation. The number of ions produced by weak electrolytes are comparatively less than the strong electrolytes, hence the molar conductivity differs. Strong electrolytes. The molar conductivity of solution of strong electrolytes increases rapidly with dilution. We know that on dilution, dissociation of the electrolyte takes place. Suppose this is the acetic acid. On dilution, the bond between this gets broken and the free ions we get, acetate ion and hydrogen ion becomes free. So on dilution, dissociation increases, so the number of ions increases, hence the molar conductivity must increase. But the molar conductivity of strong electrolyte increases rapidly with dilution. Increases rapidly. Rapid increase is observed in case of the molar conductivity of strong electrolytes with dilution. Dilution increases. Molar conductivity of strong electrolyte increases rapidly. It approaches the limiting value for 0.001 molar or 0.0001 molar solution. Limiting value means after this there will be no more increase in the molar conductivity will be observed. That is called as the limiting value. The dilution has no effect on molar conductivity thereafter, hereafter. Hereafter we don't observe any increase in the molar conductivity value on dilution. The maximum limiting value of molar conductivity is the molar conductivity at a zero concentration. Molar conductivity at zero concentration is nothing but the molar conductivity at infinite dilution. When it is diluted infinitely, the concentration will become zero, and at this concentration it acquires limiting value of molar conductivity. Limiting value, after this one there is no more increase in the molar conductivity is observed. That is called as the limiting value. It acquires limiting value at zero concentration, means at infinite dilution. When it is diluted infinitely, the concentration becomes zero and the molar conductivity of strong electrolyte acquires maximum limiting value. Molar conductivity is denoted by lambda naught. Lambda naught is the limiting molar conductivity. It is also called as lambda infinity, or it is also called as lambda naught. This is the limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity is the molar conductivity at infinite dilution or molar conductivity at zero concentration. So it is denoted by lambda naught or lambda infinity. So limiting molar conductivity is denoted by lambda naught or lambda infinity. The zero concentration or infinite dilution means the solution is so dilute that further dilution does not increase the molar conductivity. Further dilution does not increase the molar conductivity. This is the zero concentration or infinite dilution. When the solution is infinitely diluted, the concentration will become zero and there will be no more increase in the molar conductivity. That molar conductivity is called as lambda naught or lambda infinity. During 19th century, F. Collards with repeated experiments showed that the molar conductivity of strong electrolyte varies linearly. The molar conductivity of strong electrolyte varies linearly with square root of concentration. Collards observed that molar conductivity of strong electrolytes varies linearly with the square root of concentration. Varies linearly with square root of concentration. The equation is provided like this. Lambda is equal to, lambda is the molar conductivity at any concentration. That can be also denoted by lambda m. Molar conductivity at any concentration is equal to lambda naught, that is the molar conductivity at infinite dilution or the molar conductivity at zero concentration, minus A under root C. A is the constant. A is the constant under root C. C is the concentration of that solution of electrolyte. Concentration of electrolytic solution is a C. A is the constant that depends upon the nature of the electrolyte dissolved in that solution. For strong electrolytes, a plot of lambda, that is molar conductivity, versus C is linear as shown in the graph. Let us see the graph. See this graph. This is for the strong electrolyte. Initially it is increasing slowly. After that, rapid increase is observed. Rapidly increases. Here on this axis, concentration, square root of concentration is taken, and on this axis lambda is taken. Here the concentration is 0. This side concentration is increasing. This side lambda molar conductivity is increasing. When we decrease the concentration, decreasing concentration means diluting the solution. When we decrease the concentration, the molar conductivity lambda is increasing rapidly in case of the strong electrolyte. On decreasing the concentration, the molar conductivity of strong electrolyte is increasing rapidly. This is the rapid increase is observed in this. Rapidly this is increasing rapidly. See this graph. And when this graph or line, this linear graph, when it is extrapolated behind, it emits to this lambda axis at zero concentration. The respective concentration here it is a 0. So this is nothing but the lambda naught or lambda infinity. Lambda infinity is molar conductivity at zero concentration. Molar conductivity at zero concentration of strong electrolyte can be obtained by extrapolating the graph behind. When this graph is extrapolated, it emits to the molar conductivity axis here at zero concentration. So here we can calculate graphically the lambda infinity for strong electrolyte, as on dilution there is rapid increase in the molar conductivity is observed. In case of weak electrolytes, see the graph, when the dilution is increased, means the concentration is decreased, slowly the molar conductivity increase is observed. And this curve never meets to the lambda axis, molar conductivity axis. Later it becomes a parallel. Later this graph becomes parallel to molar conductivity axis. So lambda naught of weak electrolyte or lambda infinity of weak electrolyte cannot be determined graphically, because the graph never meets to the molar conductivity axis. On further dilution, at infinite dilution also it doesn't meet to the lambda naught axis, molar conductivity axis. It becomes parallel to the molar conductivity axis. So graphically lambda naught of weak electrolyte cannot be determined. So lambda naught of weak electrolyte, lambda infinity of weak electrolyte cannot be determined graphically, because the graph never meets to the molar conductivity axis. In case of the weak electrolytes, lambda naught can be determined from the Collar's law of independent migration of ions. So the molar conductivity of weak electrolyte increases rapidly on dilution. For concentrations of 0.001 molar or 0.0001 molar, lambda naught, the molar conductivity at zero concentration for weak electrolytes, the variation of lambda with C shown in the graph is not linear. It is not linear. Molar conductivity of strong electrolytes at zero concentration can be determined graphically by extrapolation of that linear part of the graph. This method cannot be used for the weak electrolyte, since that curve does not approach linearity, hence it cannot be determined. Lambda naught cannot be determined in case of weak electrolytes graphically, because it does not approach linearity. The curve does not approach linearity, it does not meet to the molar conductivity axis, so lambda naught cannot be determined graphically. Collar's law is useful for calculating lambda naught for weak electrolytes. So Collar's law of independent migration of ions, it is called. The law states that the infinite dilution, at infinite dilution means zero concentration, each ion migrate independently of its co-ion. It migrates independent of co-ion and contributes to the total molar conductivity of an electrolyte, irrespective of the nature of the other ion with which it is associated. It means at infinite dilution each ion contributes to the total molar conductivity. Its contribution does not depend upon its co-ion with which it is associated. Co-ion is the ion with which it is bonded. Suppose NaCl is there, NaCl. Co-ion of Na is Cl and co-ion of Cl is Na. So co-ion is the ion with which it is associated. So at infinite dilution each ion cation and anion migrates independently of the cation. Migration of this does not depend on this one, or migration of this does not depend on this one. It migrates independently of its cation and contributes to the total molar conductivity of an electrolyte. Irrespective, its contribution does not depend on the nature of the other ion. Its contribution does not depend on the nature of the other ion with which it is bonded or associated. With which it is bonded or associated, it means in the total molar conductivity, of an electrolyte, each ion gives its own contribution which is independent of its cation to the total molar conductivity of that electrolyte. Each ion of that electrolyte contributes to the total molar conductivity, and its contribution is irrespective of the nature of the other ion. Its contribution does not depend on the nature of the other ion with which it is associated. This is the meaning. Both cation and anion contribute to the total molar conductivity of an electrolyte at zero concentration. Thus, lambda naught is the sum of molar conductivity of lambda naught of that electrolyte. Lambda naught, that is the molar conductivity at infinite dilution, or molar conductivity at a zero concentration, is the sum of molar conductivity of cation and anion, because they makes their own contribution separately. So it is the sum of molar conductivity of cation and anion at a zero concentration. Thus, say this one, lambda naught, it is the sum of lambda naught of cation and lambda naught of anion multiplied by the number of ions produced by that electrolyte. N plus is the number of cations produced after the dissociation of that electrolyte. N minus is the number of anions produced by that electrolyte after dissociation. So on dissociation, this gives N plus cations, and after dissociation, this gives N minus anions. And lambda naught of that electrolyte is the sum of the lambda naught of cation and anion. Applications of Collard's law or Collard's theory. The first application, the theory can be used to calculate the molar conductivity of an electrolyte at a zero concentration. The molar conductivity of electrolyte at zero concentration can be determined by using the Collard's law or Collard's theory. See here, lambda naught of KCl. KCl is the strong electrolyte. Barium hydroxide, it is the weak electrolyte. See, KCl, lambda naught of K plus, lambda naught of Cl minus. Summation of the lambda naught of the cation and anion gives the lambda naught of that electrolyte. Lambda naught is the molar conductivity at infinite dilution, or molar conductivity at zero concentration of that electrolyte, is the sum of the molar conductivities at infinite dilutions of that cation and anion. Similarly, in case of barium hydroxide, lambda naught of Ba2 plus and 2 lambda naught of OH minus, because it produces 2 hydroxyl ions. So 2 into lambda naught of OH minus ions. Knowing the molar conductivities of ions at infinite dilution, lambda naught values of that electrolyte can be determined, can be obtained. If we know the values of the lambda naught of respective cations and anions, we can calculate the lambda naught of that electrolyte. This is the application of the second application of Collard's law is we can determine the lambda naught of weak electrolyte from those of the strong electrolytes. We know that lambda naught of strong electrolytes can be determined graphically, but the lambda naught of weak electrolytes cannot be determined graphically. because the graph is like this one, and it becomes almost parallel to the lambda axis. This becomes parallel to the lambda axis after the infinite dilution also. It does not meet to the lambda axis. Does not meet to the lambda axis. That is why lambda naught of weak electrolytes cannot be determined graphically, but lambda naught of strong electrolytes can be determined graphically. So from the lambda naught of strong electrolytes, we can determine the lambda naught of weak electrolytes indirectly by using the Collar's law. So here, suppose this is the lambda naught of acetic acid we want to determine. Acetic acid is the weak electrolyte, and if we know the lambda naught of HCl, HCl is the strong electrolyte, lambda naught of sodium acetate is the strong electrolyte, lambda naught of NaCl is also strong electrolyte. Lambda naught of these can be determined graphically because these are strong electrolytes. From the strong electrolyte lambda naught values, we can determine the lambda naught of weak electrolyte from the Collar's law. See what Collar's law says, that lambda naught of this weak electrolyte is the sum of the lambda naught of its ions. So its ions are H plus and Cl minus. Ions of these are acetate ion and Na plus. Ions of these are Na plus and Cl minus. As it is minus, it becomes minus and minus. So all these are plus. So this is nothing but the Collar's law. This we have written from the Collar's law, because Collar's law says that lambda naught of any electrolyte is the sum of the lambda naught of its constituent ions. So lambda naught of constituent ions are written here. Now we know that here the similar terms with opposite signs gets cancelled. So here lambda naught Na plus is the plus sign, and lambda naught of Na plus is the minus sign here. So this gets cancelled. Now here lambda naught of Cl minus, here also lambda naught of Cl minus, this gets cancelled. Lambda naught of Cl minus, lambda naught of Cl minus, plus and minus opposite charges gets cancelled. These two gets cancelled. Now whatever the ions are left, that are acetate ion and H plus ion. So here lambda naught of H plus and lambda naught of acetate ion, only both ions are these two ions are left, so these are written at the bottom. So lambda naught of H plus and lambda naught of acetate ion is nothing but the lambda naught of acetic acid, because the acetate these are the constituent ions of the acetic acid, H plus and acetate ions. So summation of the lambda naught of these ions is nothing but the lambda naught of acetic acid. So indirectly, by using the Collar's law, lambda naught of weak electrolyte can be calculated from the strong electrolyte. So this is the important application of this Collar's law, that is calculation of molar conductivity at infinite dilution of weak electrolyte from strong electrolytes by using Collar's law. Because the lambda naught values of the strong electrolytes can be determined by the extrapolation method, from that we can determine the lambda naught of any weak electrolyte using the lambda naught of the strong electrolyte. Here are some numericals given. Calculate the molar conductivity of silver iodide, AgI, silver iodide at concentration, at 0 concentration, if the conductivities of NaI, sodium iodide, silver nitrate and sodium nitrate at 0 concentrations are given respectively. These values are given. See here, we have to calculate the lambda naught of silver iodide. From the sodium iodide is silver nitrate and NaNO3. We want a lambda naught of Ag plus for the calculation of lambda naught of AgI and lambda naught of iodide. These are the strong electrolytes given. From the values of the strong electrolytes, we can determine the value of lambda naught of silver iodide indirectly by using Collar's law. We know that NaI, lambda naught of Na is the summation of the lambda naught of Na plus and Cl minus ion. Similarly, lambda naught of silver nitrate is the summation of lambda naught of silver and lambda naught of nitrate ion. That is Collar's law. Lambda naught of sodium nitrate is the sum of the lambda naught of sodium ion and lambda naught of nitrate ion. These values are given. So from equations 1, 2 and 3 gives lambda naught of NaI plus lambda naught of silver nitrate. From the summation of these two, if we subtract the lambda naught of NaNO3, means we don't want Na and NO3 from this. If we remove Na and NO3, we get Ag and Na only. Ag and iodide. We want Ag and iodide ions. So we don't want Na and nitrate. So Na, sodium and nitrate ions are subtracted from this one. So doing this algebraic operation we can get. So write down by using the Collar's law, lambda naught of Na plus and lambda naught of minus lambda naught of Na plus gets cancelled. Plus lambda naught of nitrate minus lambda naught of nitrate gets cancelled. Only now these two ions are left. That is the lambda naught of iodide and lambda naught of silver is nothing but the lambda naught of silver iodide. Means when these two values are added and from this sodium nitrate value when subtracted, we get the lambda naught of silver iodide. So the value is 138.8 and the molar conductivity unit is per 1 centimeter square per mole is the common unit. This is not the SI unit, this is the common unit. Second numerical is given. Calculate the molar conductivities at 0 concentration for calcium chloride, sodium sulfate, and sodium sulfate. Given molar conductivities of calcium ion, chloride ion, sodium ion and sulfate ions are given respectively. These are the values given. According to Collar's law, lambda naught of CaCl2 is the sum of the lambda naught of calcium and chloride ions. One calcium chloride, to form one calcium chloride, 1 mole of calcium chloride, we need 1 ion of calcium and 2 ions of chloride. So here 1 ion lambda naught of calcium ion and 2 into lambda naught of chloride ions are taken and these are summed up so that we get lambda naught of calcium chloride. This is the Collar's law. So these two into this value of 2 into value of the lambda naught of chloride gives us the value of the lambda naught of calcium chloride. Similarly, lambda naught of sodium sulfate. So to form the sodium sulfate, 2 ions of Na are required and 1 ion of sulfate is required. So summing up the lambda naught of 2 ions of sodium and lambda naught 1 ion of sulfate, we get the lambda naught of sodium sulfate. So 2 into lambda naught of Na plus and plus lambda naught of sulfate gives us the value of the lambda naught of sodium sulfate. The value obtained is this one. The molar conductivity of 0.1 molar acetic acid is given at 25 degrees Celsius and that value is 16.5 per 1 centimeter square per mole. Molar conductivity value of acetic acid is given. Its concentration is also provided. Calculate its degree of dissociation in 0.1 molar solution. Its degree of dissociation alpha. Alpha is asked. Degree of dissociation alpha is asked in the 0.01 molar solution. We know that acetic acid is the weak electrolyte. It does not undergo complete dissociation. It undergoes partial dissociation. So how much amount of that undergone dissociation can be determined by the degree of dissociation. So we need to calculate here degree of dissociation. It is asked to calculate. And dissociation constant if molar conductivity of acetic acid at 0 concentration is provided. Molar conductivity of acetic acid at 0 concentration means lambda naught is given here and we are asked to calculate the dissociation constant. Calculate the degree of dissociation and dissociation constant, means alpha, and as it is acid, dissociation constant is Ka. These two we need to determine from the given values. We know that alpha is equal to, this is the relationship, note down this relationship, alpha is equal to lambda C divided by lambda naught. Lambda C is the molar conductivity at any concentration, and this is the lambda naught is the molar conductivity at zero concentration. So alpha is this relationship, note down, that we have not taken earlier. So alpha is equal to lambda C divided by lambda naught, and lambda C is given, molar conductivity at any concentration is given, and molar conductivity at infinite dilution is also given. So doing this one, we get 0.0422 value of alpha. Now we know that Ka, dissociation constant Ka, is equal to alpha square C divided by 1 minus alpha. Now alpha value is 0.0422, we can square it, and concentration is given 0.01 molar divided by 1 minus alpha, that is 1 minus, this is the alpha, the value obtained is 1.85 into 10 raised to minus 5. This is the value of Ka, and Ka has got no unit. K is the equilibrium constant of acid, so it has got no unit. Alpha is also not having any unit because the same unit gets cancelled. So in this way we can determine the lambda naught of any electrolyte, strong or weak electrolyte, both, from the Collard's law. So this is the application of the Collard's law. So numericals also we have taken. So similar numericals you find out from the textbook and practice it. Thank you.